Welcome back, everyone, to the Cybergamer Pro League Finals. Of course, we are at the grand final now. This is the exciting point. This is the tippy top. Us on the winner's side, actually taking out Team Immunity, kicking them into the lower bracket, and as we saw, a fantastic game from Immunity versus your Soul Shell Chuffer to put them into the grand final. I am, of course, Max Atlas Anderson, joined by Reese Menace Grant. Menace, I'm so excited, and yeah, I've got your name down, Pat, brother. Don't worry about that. Everyone's going to know now.
I gotta change my Skype name. Gotta get rid of that. It's just Menace. Just Menace.
Minute.
So we are, into the finals now. It's a good thing to note here because Curse are and the winners. They've already got one game advantage. So one loss from Team Immunity could see Curse prevail in this tournament and win. I really want to see it happen. It'd be great to see Curse come through and take out Immunity in this one. The last match they played together was amazingly close. Can Immunity convincingly beat them this time, or will the Curse be able to prove themselves by coming through and taking out Immunity?
Well, we're not entirely sure, but of course, Curse with a one-game advantage already. Of course, Team Immunity on the blue side to start off with. They're going to be absolutely fine with that one. And we'll just see what happens here, whether Curse can really follow it out. Of course, starting off with completely purple bands, of course, Lulu Cassidy, Jax LeBlanc, Kha'Zix, and Morgana. Fairly standard coming through here, of course. I really like the Morgana band, taking it away from both Aerie and Venom, who have both shown us that these are definitely champions they're incredibly comfortable on. Of course, that Black Shield being absolutely fantastic. And I'm just looking forward to see what gets picked up here. Swiper taking a little while, making sure that he makes his decision effectively, and we'll see what he decides to go with. Of course, Lucian's available, but Nocturne is going to be looked at here. Spook's going to be... Oh, no. They're going to switch it over to an Elise, and there it is. Spook's picking up his Elise now, and with that Feral Flare taking a massive nerf, we are going to see these junglers that like to rely on the Spirit Stone items a whole lot more.
Yeah, so they picked Elise in the game against Curse previously. It didn't work out well for them. Curse were able to capitalize. They had Trundle up in the top lane. We'll see if Colo is able to grab that one away again. But yeah, these bands once again pretty much the same sort of stuff we've seen all day. Lulu being taken away this time from Swiffer. We saw him play that last match against YSSC and literally dominated quite a bit. Nice moving around the map. And able to get a few kills up in the top lane as well. Swiffer really likes to roam, so yeah, we'll see what they do pick up this time now that's been banned out. I mean, Oriana's still on the table. We saw, was it a Twisted Fate in the game against Curse? And even though they lost, Immunity still played a good Twisted Fate. He was able to get a few ganks off and get nice kills down the bottom lane. Has so much potential and so much mobility with that Destiny. So we'll have to see what they pick up.
Yeah, of course, locking in actually the Evelyn here for Chelby, and Oriana being taken away straight away here by Keen. Swiffer hovering over a Lux. I doubt that's going to come through. Here's a little bit of a throwback to some old lanes that we used to see back in Season 3, you know, when Lux was played quite often, but probably not going to be the case here. Of course, Chelby back on that Evelyn as well, and we've been seeing Evelyn's being either very, very prominent or falling entirely flat. If she doesn't get an early lead, she just does not get to that point where she can build the tanky items and become a bit of a monster in that late game. And she's just so squishy, doesn't offer all that much CC, just has that Agony's Embrace in order to get down any form of slow. So we'll see what they decide to do. There's a lot of flanking tactics being come in here. And of course, Swiffer having that Oriana being taken away from him is very intelligent. But it looks like it's going to be Lucian and Leona here being picked up by Immunity. A really, really powerful bottom lane to start this one off. And it's actually not going to be it. It's going to be Thresh and Lucian, the classic wife-stealing bottom lane.
That is a beautiful bottom lane, and finally we get to see some Lucian into play because it hasn't been banned previously. It's been banned pretty much every match. But, yeah, we'll see. I'm a little bit behind here, so they have picked up that Evelyn, like you said, a very interesting pick. It's a make or break pick as well, like you mentioned. I mean, if you don't get that going, it's just it's going to be real trouble for Curse. Hopefully they can get it up and moving. It's going to be difficult against an Elise who's super mobile, super so much kit that we've talked about previously as well. Her kit is so strong. Spooks loves to play that Elise in the jungle and complements Swiffer in that mid lane. So we'll see. What's Swiffer pick for his mid lane?
He hasn't actually picked up anything for his mid lane yet. We're still waiting on last couple of picks coming through from Curse. Of course, Leona is the hover here for Kane, and Trashboat does get his Jinx once more. So they're going to be holding out for their top lane pickup. No one to give that one away just yet, so they are going to be able to see what Swiper decides to go with and pick accordingly. We'll see what they decide to go with. Of course, Team Immunity already with an incredibly solid lineup of Elise, Thresh, and Lucian. Just really powerful picks in their respective roles. Elise receiving a few nerfs, but as Brad has been telling us, as Superficial, has been telling us, it's her kit that really makes her incredibly strong. Sejuani is being the hover here. Very standard support player here, and just not really at all. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a Sejuani, but I really like the hover because Sejuani is a really cool champion. That Glacial Tomb is just a monstrous ability. Swiper, thinking about this Renekton to be switched over here with Radier. We'll see whether that one gets locked in. I think Swiper wanted to play that in the last game, but unfortunately was picked away from him there by Jack Attack, who's fantastic on that particular champion, and Swiffer's Nidalee coming through as well. They've got the Nidalee Lucian combination with the Elise for the cocoons as well. Massive amount of pick potential, massive amount of poke potential. Team Immunity's lineup is looking really, really strong. On the other side though, Curse hovering over this Shyvana, and that means that they've got the Dragon's Descent Shockwave combination as well. So an equally powerful combo, and with an Evelyn able to flank in from the back, get that Agony's Embrace down. You've got the Dragon's Descent then on top of completely slowed targets, potentially a Randuin's Omen there as well, and then the Shockwave able to be put down, tons of damage, and then of course you've got Super Mega Death Rocket for even more, and the Solar Flare for potential engage. Man, Curse's lineup's looking really strong, and Immunity's lineup also looking fantastically strong. I'm really looking forward to this game. Who would you pick to have the more powerful team here though, Menace? If you had to put on your analytical glasses and see this game, what would it be?
My analytical glasses are a bit fogged up, so we'll just go with, I like Curse's lineup. There's a reason for that, is because they have a great synergy with all the ultimates. I enjoy seeing AoE team comps, and I think AoE team comps work really well if you can get them in the right situation. Curse showed that in the previous matchup. They can get Immunity in a compromising position and capitalize on really big AoE ultimates. They had the Solar Flares, which were on point, being played by Aerie. Jinx as well. I think that the Nidalee pick onto Swiffer is dangerous, but it won't be too hard for Orianna to support throughout the team. The poke composition from Immunity is where theirs comes into play. There's a lot of siege potential, a lot of opportunities for them to create picks under an enemy turret. So that's where Curse are going to have to watch themselves really hard, is to make sure that they don't get themselves in a siege composition or a siege situation. They're going to just have to engage. Whenever Immunity position themselves for that, it's time for a Zenith Blade Solar Flare to back it up.
Yeah, no, it really is, and it's going to be relying on Curse to engage the fights exactly when they need to, and being decisive with when they put these fights down, because they can't flounder. The longer they flounder, the more spears are going to land. We know that Swift fantastic at landing those spears, and the more opportunity there is for piercing lights, for potential hooks, for cocoons, and for Swiper just to menace into everyone's face and start off a fight once everyone's low on the side of Curse. So we're looking at Immunity to try and get the poke down, to get the disengage down, and stop Curse from just flat out hard engaging on them. But if Curse gets the engage, things are going to work out really, really well. Of course, you can have the double flanking combo here from Colo coming down from the top lane, Chelby coming through with the Agony's Embrace, and really sandwich down onto Team Immunity. So Immunity wants to stay spread out, they want to get their poke happening, and get the sieges on when they want to, and they need the vision. Vision is going to be so paramount this game, especially for Immunity trying to set up these sieges.
Alright, so let's have a look at some of the summoners now that they're revealed here, Atlas. We've got Teleport for Shyvana being played by Colo. He didn't actually go for the Trundle this time, which I find interesting. I mean, it worked out amazingly. Like, he played a perfect game on that Trundle in the last match against Immunity. But this time, picking up the Shyvana, he's going to have a hard time against Renekton up until around that 9, 10, 11 mark, where Shyvana really does get going. So I expect a little bit of attention from Chelby up in the top lane, but yeah, like it's interesting to see that he didn't go for that Trundle once more. I guess Renekton is something you don't want to be playing against with the Trundle.
Yeah, Trundle just not quite as strong even as Shyvana. Of course, Shyvana doesn't necessarily win this matchup early on either. It takes until about the level 9 point before he really starts to be able to fight against a Renekton, and that's if they've gone almost even. So that's when you naturally are going to start out scaling. If Swiper does get ahead, and Swiper's Renekton, he is world-renowned on that Renekton. He is fantastically strong on this top lane champion, knows every nuance as far as playing that one is concerned. So he's not going to let Colo get ahead, and he's definitely not going to give him any reason to farm unnecessarily. I mean, a lot of Shyvana's recently we've seen going up against Renekton still being able to farm it out fairly evenly. We saw Swiper manage to do that in the last game, but I could imagine the Swiper is going to be putting the pressure on hard and fast throughout this entire game. And if he doesn't manage to stay almost relevant in this lane, and Swiper gets some kills, manages to get the ganks off when they need to, and of course, Coon combination through with the stun from Renekton's really, really powerful in the early game. I'm looking to see Immunity just be able to steamroll through that top lane, and we're going to have Swiper with a lot of power. So we'll see whether they can keep him down, whether that Renekton can really slowly get outscaled, because in the late game, the Cursed team comp is outstanding. Shyvana, Orianna, and Jinx all hyperscale into that late game. Shyvana not quite so much, but Orianna and Jinx, of course, are absolutely amazing, and Leona gets incredibly tanky, also has so much CC. So we'll see what they can do. I mean, Team Immunity's lineup isn't necessarily going to fall off really hard. They don't have the likes of a Lee Sin, but Renekton over there does fall off. Lucian is really powerful in that early to mid game, and also he's still strong in the late game, but doesn't quite have the hyper carry potential with those critting rockets coming through from such long range. So we'll see whether they can manage to force out a lead early on and really get the sieges that they want. But man, I'm excited for both of these teams to meet again, because Curse was so dominant in their game against Immunity, and any team that manages to take off even one game from Immunity should be given a massive round of applause here in Oceania.
Yeah, so hopefully they can actually make it count, and if they win this game, they will take out the series, and they will take out the entire tournament, as well as defeating Immunity. So there's big props here on the line for Curse if they can actually beat them. Fingers crossed. That
also $900 as well for the first place spot, so that's nothing to scoff at either.
Money is good.
Yeah, money's always good.
Money is always good. And yeah, they've already secured their spot in the winter regionals. Actually, both these teams are in the winter regionals. But this now, Curse is just playing to try and get themselves a better seeding into that tournament. So Curse probably pretty comfortable where they are at the moment. If they do lose, I mean, it's not going to be too much damage to their feelings. But if they can win this match, it will really put them on the map big time.
Yes, it really will. And of course, Team Immunity with an uphill battle here, now down one game just because of this slightly slanted best-of-3 scenario. And Swiffer just standing in this brush wanting to throw out as many spears as possible. Chelby playing a little bit of a babysit, but one of them's already landed, so first blood going on the side of Team Immunity. Not in kills, in damage. Swiper now finds Colo standing in this brush. Colo is just standing around a bit confusedly. One auto attack being taken here, so both solo lanes with an early lead.
So, yeah, we see pretty standard starts. No aggression from either side, which is to be expected. Nothing huge for level 1 between the two team compositions here. But Swiffer on that Nidalee is quite scary. I'm surprised I actually made it through the banding phase. And, you know, it'll be interesting up against the Orianna. Orianna's super squishy. A couple of spears, you know. It's really going to have to be on his game here, Keen.
And he is. Like, we've seen Keen, playing that Orianna to fantastic effect, especially in the Challenger qualifier, where he was picking up that champion and doing monstrous amounts of work. So we'll see whether he manages to get to the point where he can make that play again. But this bottom lane here from Team Immunity is so scary. But we'll see whether Airy can land the Zenith Blades when he needs to, and whether Trashboat can really utilize his Jinx, his favorite pick, to its greatest potential. And as we can see already, I mean, the harass coming down on both sides. Keen, though, at half health already. Swiffer putting the pressure down so hard.
Yeah, that's in the bottom lane here, you can see the Radios actually bullying quite a lot as well. So both this middle and bottom lanes for Immunity have a lot of aggression early on. Lucian is such a lane bully, able to do a lot of damage with that piercing light especially. And the passive where he gets the double up the 2 auto.
Oh, Chelby
attacks.
here with the steel. Spooks almost finding him out, forcing the flash over the wall, but there's the blue steel coming over for Chelby. Very, very sneaky play, picking that one up in the face of team immunity.
Yeah, so there is taken away there. Nice little play there by Chelby, and he's just going around, going to clear his jungle out. So a little while before Evelyn really makes this play. Level 6 is where she comes into her own, really. And look at Keen actually coming back here. Swiffer dodging a bit of that damage, and Keen taking a spear to the face, trading back and forth these two mid laners. It's just going to be constant fighting here for Keen as well as Swiffer. But bottom lane is where it's at. Lots of action around this blue buff here. Chelby comes in, and you can see the Spooks is trying to get a bit of vengeance here on the blue buff, but they're able to get it away. And Chelby now will safely take his blue buff. I don't know. Spooks wants a bit more action as Airy comes in, gets a stun off, and Raid is actually joining the fight. So the blue buff going over to Chelby here. He smites that one away. Jinx still just chilling out here in the bottom. Actually able to get a bit of CS. So he's caught up the CS lead on Radiant. A bit of maybe a mistake, I think, from Immunity to go and try and contest that one. Yeah,
well, they were trying to get a blue buff back in response. I mean, Chelby forcing that one out. There's the Zenith Blade in the bottom lane. Relentless Pursuit being used here by Radiant just to try and get to safety. Trashboat is fairly low on health, but nothing going to come from that as of yet. But that's a 3-buff start here for Evelyn here on for Chelby's Evelyn. And Chelby, we know, is an incredibly aggressive player, so now able to really put the pressure on everywhere. Here's the repel coming through. Keen taking a lot of damage. Red buff is ticking. The flash coming through as well. There's the cocoon, and there are the spears. First blood coming down for Spooks. Really, really well played.
Yeah, the flash actually was trying to maybe flash out the cocoon, trying to predict where that was when he was going to throw it out. But Spooks held on to it to the last second. He flashed at a weird angle. Maybe if he'd flashed actually directly away, we could have seen that he could have survived, maybe getting out of range of that cocoon. But nonetheless, first blood over there for Spooks. We'll have to see what he does with that one. He's picked himself up the Spirit Stone now, as well as some boots to get around the map. Up on the top lane, Swiper taking a lot of damage, which is quite unfortunate for him, especially since he has that nice early advantage.
Yeah, he does have the early advantage. Taking a lot of turret shots, is still up in CS by about 5. But will have to go back. Does pick up that pickaxe. Is going to be able to head back to lane with that health pot as well. So he's going to have a lot more damage. Slices his way out of the fountain. Just try and get himself into that lane as quickly as possible. And he might make it before this wave does hit the turret. Just because he did have it shoved up so incredibly far. Of course, as a Renekton, you want to be putting on as much pressure as possible. And I don't think Colo will be able to clear out this wave quite quickly enough. So Swiper with some nice back timing. Swiffer missing that spear in the mid lane quite effectively, and the immunity bottom lane going to be heading back to base as well. So we'll see what they decide to do, whether Curse can capitalize on this one at all. But because this wave's pushed up so far, I don't think they're going to be going for any dragons here at 6 minutes in either. So nice back timing there, and a Vamp Scepter and Boots being picked up here by Radius. So you're going to have a lot more sustain in this lane, as well as some maneuverability.
So Kane going back and buying himself an extra Doran's ring as well as the Fairy Charm. Oh no, Kane once again
now coming through. Chelby's
yeah, but
here
Chelby
in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, we can see Spooks now. He's got the repel available. The Swiffer will get away with the heal the last second, but gets locked up under the turret. The spear missing the turret, getting a few hits off there. That could have been very dangerous, but a nice little read from Chelby.
Yeah, nice read from Chelby. Spook sort of forcing that fight when he saw the Evelyn coming up from behind him. And Swiffer was really, really low at the beginning of that one. I think he was trying to bait something out, but in a 2v2 situation, he had to blow everything in order to get out of there. Now Swiper putting on a lot of pressure here in this top lane. Does have that Dominus available, but doesn't have that much health. Oh, there's the repel being used here in the mid lane and trying to get some damage down. Low health bars on all sides of the map. There's the hook landing in the bottom lane, though. The Eclipse is now used. Airy trying to put it back, but nothing really going to happen there. It's always exciting when the death sentence lands. A little bit unfortunate when nothing comes of it. That being said, a lot of damage being put down by these rockets coming from Trashboat. Radiant getting taken down to about half health here, forced to pop that potion.
So Shyvana picking up getting a Giant's belt already. You can see he's gone back for that defensive stat nice and early on. Saved up 1,000 gold. And, really doesn't want to fight Swiper at the moment, especially since he does have that scaling. His scaling actually pretty bad up until about 11. So Swiffer in the mid lane here has gone back and bought himself a Chalice of Harmony and some boots. Grabbed a ward as well for that extra vision. There's actually plenty of vision around here from Curse around the mid lane. They don't want to see. They don't want Nidalee moving around the map. I mean, once she hits level 6, gets very mobile. She has hit level 6 now. Got that Cougar form, able to do some wave clear and get around the map and do some ganking.
Yeah, we'll see whether she does want to bring any of these spears into the bottom or top lane. At the moment, just happy to clear out this wave. Now, really glad to have some extra wave clear that Cougar form does give you with that swipe and the pounce, of course. So able to get a little bit of AoE happening. Venom just trying to get some auto attacks off, utilizing that mastery point in order to get a little bit of gold every time he hits an enemy champion. Oh, unfortunate miss there. There's the Zenith Blade. Nice play in order to stop this one, but here's Chelby. The Flame Chompers are there. Radier is definitely dead. Venom, the Agony's Embrace coming down. I wonder if they're going to be able to make it 2 kills. If Trashboat does manage to get this one, it's going to be a bad news Bears for team immunity, but unfortunately not going to be able to pick that one up. Keen now taking a spear to the face as well. But nice for Curse there, and they are actually very, very even now on gold. We'll see whether they can translate this to a dragon, because that's really going to put them ahead.
Alright, so Swiffer now moving towards his bottom lane, trying to contest this dragon, throwing out the spears. Curse wisely back off that one and move away from the dragon. Orianna heading back to base. Actually, no, Keen decides to cancel that one out. He's going to take the blue buff before he goes back and buys a few items. So evening it out is actually pretty much on point with the gold on either side. Neither team have got themselves a turret yet, but yeah, very even game so far. Curse doing pretty well to keep up.
Yeah, seriously even. Of course, Chelby now with a fantastic 20 CS lead there, coming from the jungle, so going to have a little bit more money to spend as far as that is concerned. Of course, no turrets being taken yet. 9.5 minutes into this game, Zap being used to clear out that cannon creep as well. Of course, very even here in this bottom lane as far as CS is concerned. Nothing like last game where we saw that phenomenal first blood coming through from Radier. So Immunity not going to necessarily be able to rely on their bottom lane quite as much as they did in previous matchups. And that might be difficult. There has been a pause coming through now, giving us a little bit of respite here from the action. We can have a look at the rest of the things. Swiper is apparently lagging. He does have an 11 CS lead, so even with lag, able to still play out this game fairly effectively.
All right, we might just cut to some music here, guys, while we ride out this pause. We'll be right back for this grand final between Immunity and Curse. Stick around.
Just enough to carry me on. But that
All right, we are back, guys. The pause is finished. Swiper has turned his computer back on. We're able to play some more League of Legends here. Thanks for sticking out through the pause for us. As Curse taking on immunity here. You can see the push coming out from Spooks as well as Swiffer. And there's that Siege comp.
Spear.
Yeah, the Siege comp. The flash coming in from Spooks, though, under the turret. Shelby's there to answer. He was hiding in the back. And Swiffer picks up a kill.
Nice flash.
Yeah, nice flash over the back here. Shelby now could be in a bit of trouble as Venom joins the rest of the fight. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes through, lands onto Venom. Doesn't quite pick up the kill onto Spooks. They got themselves the advantage. They're going to move through and maybe take out the Dragon.
Yeah, they are going to get down to this Dragon as well, and with the amount of pressure Swipe is putting onto this top lane as well, it's going to be hard for Colo to teleport down. He's currently at half health as well. So not going to add the pressure that he really would like to. That being said, Immunity is going to head back down to this bottom lane and see what they can do from there. Of course, as we can see, the Wolf Ward here for Rosie. This is the fantastic point. Against an Evelyn, putting wards on camps is really, really smart. Swiffer now has found Shelby. He is in no man's land. Swiper is coming around to offer his support there as well. And as we can see, a lot of healing coming through from this Nidalee now, who has a Doran's ring worth of ability power. So is going to be scaling more and more as this game goes up. Is going to go back and try and finish off that Athene's on Holy Grail. Is going to finish that one off right out there. So about 2,000 gold was sitting on Swiffer. Nice cash pickup, and we'll see whether these spears are going to be hurting anymore, because already Keen was taking a lot of pain from those.
And the bottom lane here, Venom returning down here with Radia, and now the BF sword as well as the Vamp Scepter on the trash boat being finished up. He's got himself a nice chunk of damage and some sustain. The Vamp Scepter only being finished on Radia, and he's trying his best to chill out in this lane. The zap landing straight onto that minion in the face. But yeah,
poor little minion.
Look at Nidalee roaming all around the map now that she's got that middle turret down. Is just moving all the way around to try and create some pressure on these lanes. Shelby has actually had some nice positioning. You can see him walking over the pink wards all over the place at the moment. And, you know, Shelby might get caught out here by Nidalee. Thresh actually moving up through the river as well. And he stands on a trap. So that's a little bit of, really mentioned that actually the traps there for Shelby is a little bit of a counter for the Evelyn and could be quite difficult for him to play. Yeah,
it's true. Swiper putting a lot of pressure down here in this top lane. This top turret. There is a cannon creep there as well. The Dragon's Ascent comes through, just sidestepped by Swiper. And that tower is going to go down, so a lot more pressure being added here by Immunity, and this is really, really important for this Dragon fight as well. Not only is Dragon Descent now down, but also there is no tower to fall back to, so Colo can safely teleport to the potential Dragon fight. So we'll see whether he can put enough pressure down, or whether Swiper's still just going to use that Cold Meek, just come back into this fight and really be able to pressure Colo and force the 4v4 situation if that Dragon fight does ever come out.
Alright, so pressure now on this bottom lane as Radia and Venom are up. We could see some more items around the map being picked up. So Colo came back into lane with a Sunfire Cape, and I saw some things coming out. You can see actually Spooks moving around through the jungle, enemy's jungle, walking over a ward. So Keen's going to meet him face to face here. He's going to get sandwiched though. The ultimate whiffing completely, gets locked up with a Cocoon Spear to the face. Will he be able to escape? There's a teleport over the back though, coming down from Shyvana. Actually just cancelled that one. I think it may have even been Renekton gets the stun, but that actually warded them off, chasing that Orianna any further. So nice work there.
And blew the teleport here as well. So really opening up the Dragon, and immediately Team Immunity head straight down there, start that one off. Of course, Elise fantastic at killing off these dragons, can use that Spiderling in order to get that damage down. Swiffer is here as well, just to offer attack speed and heals to his team. Airy now walking in the face of that one. Nice work smiting that one out. Spooks, there's a Solar Flare as well. Spooks gets stunned up, does have, of course, that Repel, which he's going to use right now. Airy now in the thick of things, in amongst 4 people, but it's Trashbow picking up all of the aggro. Airy instantly follows afterwards. Radiant with the double kill. Spear narrowly missing onto Shelby, and that is bad news here for Curse, because that is a Radiant now with an extra double kill, and that is not what you want.
A nice play there. I mean, I just thought, yes, we have the advantage now that Dragon's been taken out, that they used the Solar Flare, did lock up a few people, but Radiant came down from the bottom lane and was able to do a heap of damage onto Trash Boat with that culling, and it just really translated really badly for Curse. So unfortunate events for them. They're really on the back foot at the moment, 4-1. You can see they're actually finding Swiper though up in this jungle.
Oh, Chelby taking so much damage.
Yeah, Chelby can't even fight this one. The spear comes across, the flash from Chelby. He's going to find himself in the face of a Swiffer though, and that cat form is going to destroy him. Swiffer picks that one up, but Keen's here to grab another kill. Lucian actually taking out the turret down in the bottom lane. Are they going to fight on that one? No, they're not. They're just chasing down this Nidalee, and Swiper able to get away, and Chelby goes down.
Yeah, Chelby getting taken down by the execute damage of the Q in kitty form here by Swiffer, and then utilizing the fact that he can just run so quickly through these brushes, gets out of the fight as well. So really, really nicely played by Team Immunity, and nice aggro control as well, making sure that Swiffer makes Curse feel like he's out of position enough. There's a repel coming through. Interesting work by Spooks. Seemed like he had the jump there, swiping now, and very, very aggressive. Does get the heal here from Swiffer as well. And look at how aggressive they are here up onto that inner turret in the top lane. Immunity just, they know exactly what to do with the lead. They never relinquish pressure.
Yeah, Immunity really putting it down onto Curse at the moment, and Spooks here is just keeping Keen busy. Keen eats a spear to the face. Swiffer on point. He wants to go another one. Another pounce will do it. He has to flash over the back of the turret. A nice play there from Keen as Trashboat in the bottom lane picking up that turret. Swiffer's not got much mana left. He's still in Cougar form here. He might actually find himself a Chelby there as Chelby is returning to the mid lane trying to take a bit of CS. What an action-packed game so far, but Immunity playing really well. Swiffer comes in and takes a bit of damage from Chelby. Throws a spear out, doesn't quite land.
Yeah, of course. Swiffer just happy just to pounce around now that he has that Cougar form available. Radiant has found Trashboat. The nice little flame chompers down the zap landing for a little bit of extra damage. But with that Bloodthirster, of course, Radiant not too worried about taking that harass because he can heal it all the way back up. With a little bit of a CS advantage as well, about 14 in the lead there on Trashboat. But Boat, of course, is going to be able to scale very, very well into that late game, of course, with the hyperscaling nature of Jinx. Just with those rockets doing so much damage, the fact that it can crit onto multiple targets as well is just absolutely devastating if that does end up being a factor. But with 4.4 thousand gold being the lead here at 16 minutes into this game, Team Immunity have a lot of control.
Yeah, there's so much of an advantage here already. The zap lands onto Swiffer, onto Radiant, I should say. And Airy looking for a follow-up with the Zenith Blade, but the dash being able to get away. This bottom lane, though, Trashboat's not doing too badly. You know, got 1-1-1, 128 CS, keeping up here with Swiffer, who's, with Radiant. I keep saying that. It's the wrong thing. With Radiant, who's actually got himself a kill advantage over the Curse AD. In the mid lane here, Immunity grouping up, 4-man group onto the second tier turret. They want to push the advantage. Colo eating their spears. Swiffer all over the place with these spears. They're just perfect. And Curse actually wanting to maybe get a pinch of 5-man fight. We can see right here.
Oh, Trashboat.
That was a huge spear on a Trashboat. That's going to put him out of the fight. This is what I said. This is the siege comp that Nidalee just excels at and where Curse don't want to be. They have to engage here because they will not win this fight.
Yeah, and as you can see, Immunity already realized that there is a potential flank here coming from Chelby, and Curse can have an opportunity now to get exactly what they want down. Nice cocoon landing here. There's the culling as well. Colo in from the side. We'll see whether this is the fight that Curse won. They managed to get the stun onto Radiant. That's massive. Colo, though, going incredibly low. Agony's Embrace a little bit late. Not entirely sure when the shockwave's going to come out. The shutdown comes through. Boat gets excited. Spook's incredibly low. That's a 1-for-1 so far. Both mid lane has been traded. But Swiffer now unable to be here and offer these spears in response. We'll see whether it's going to be enough. 2 members of Curse already back in base, as well as Keen in that death chamber. Now it is, of course, going to be a 4v3 here in the middle lane. Thankfully, not too much going to happen. Colo actually blows that teleport to make sure that he gets back. And almost working out there for Curse. Unfortunately, just a 1-for-1 trade. No turrets going down, though.
Yeah, I think that teleport was quite essential from Colo to come in here. Look at Radiant, just walks up to the face of the top laner, which you don't normally see at this stage of the game. Colo's still not very keen to fight, as I should say. So that's that teleport, like I said, actually stopped Immunity from coming in and doing a push down on that mid lane because Thresh still has a potential to grab a hook, or there's a lot of poke there. So if they were able to grab someone, that could have been a turret quite easily gone for Curse. So not a bad play coming out from Colo. A lot of items being finished around the board here, and still we see these ADs keeping up with each other.
Yeah, and of course, Swiffer went back with about 2.5k gold as well, has finished off that needlessly large rod and a blasting wand as well. So he's going to be monstrous now in these fights. 3, 1, and 3. The spears are really doing the damage that they need to around this mid-game. 20 minutes on the clock. We've got 4 seconds until Dragon comes up, and Immunity perfectly positioned at this point. The Zap going to come through, but just going to get sidestepped here by Spooks. In return, going to be dodging that Cocoon as well, so... Nice work. Nice little volatile spiderling, just scouting everyone out as well, and Immunity, everyone collapsing down here. We do have, of course, the Banshee's Veil being picked up here. Oh, but the fight breaks out. The culling being used comes through. A lot of damage onto Airy. There's Swiper way into the backline. That was an incredible cull to make. Almost a double kill instantly coming through from Swiper, and he's not finished yet. But Crash Boat incredibly low. Tries to use a Super Mega Death Rocket in desperation, but now it's Colo gets stunned up under his tower. The execute damage comes through from Spooks, and even though they're all very, very low, Team Immunity come out on top. That is a 5-0 ace here for Immunity in a turret here as well. Wow, I got completely tongue-tied just because there was so much aggression coming out from Team Immunity.
Yeah, really nice play from IM there. They were able to lock up LB as well with a nice death sentence, and they're going to go through, maybe probably still take that Dragon. It's quite easy for them to grab that one at this time. There's no teleport available for Colo. They're going to start this one up, and we'll take it down super quick. Venom at full health, able to tank this one. Look at how much health the Swiper's got as well. And they take away the Dragon, and the lead is just increasing even further.
Yeah, and we've got Swiper here on 2-0 and 3. This is a Renekton that's coming into this 20-minute point, level 13, now with a gigantic CS lead. Lots of kills as well. Does have that Banshee's Veil for that extra reduction of spells, and of course the magic resist here against all of the magic damage that's coming through. And of course Trashboat really the only dedicated AD on this team. Having those hate spikes come out. The Ravage, of course, is now physical coming through from Evelyn, but the hate spikes are, of course, magic, and the shockwaves and all of the damage from Orianna is, of course, magic, and half of Colo's damage here on this Shyvana is also magic. So having that early magic resist is massive, really, really instrumental, and the fact that he can't get us stunned up here by any of those first spells that come through means that Swiper can get into that backline so much more easily than he otherwise would. Oh, Colo actually getting caught up here by the Cocoon. See whether Spooks can find anything else. Here we do have Venom and Swiffer coming through as well. There's a Dragon's Descent, really nice shockwave, but gets dodged out by everyone from Immunity. The disengage is so incredibly powerful coming in from the monstrous team of Immunity. Swiper,
yeah, and there's a lot of cooldowns.
Though.
Yeah, Swiper doesn't even care. He's up in the middle of all that fight. Airy takes a spear to the face. Look at how tanky this Swiper is with all those cooldowns being used. Curse on the back foot big time here. Chubby gets locked up with a Cocoon. A nice solar flare there, but it actually gets repelled. And Swiffer takes down Airy very quickly. The Super Mega Death Rocket came across over the back. The box being used in the middle of everything. But Thresh picks up a kill onto the Jinx there. Double kill there for Swiffer as well. And now they're chasing down Keen. They're able to pick off the Evelyn around the back. Going onto his second tier turret's not going to be enough. Look at that stun and the damage from Swiper. There's another ace from Team Immunity. Surely it's going to be an inhibitor.
Yeah, Team Immunity with absolutely ridiculous teamfight control. Managing to get that box down in that perfect choke point so that no one could walk through that jungle without getting hit by the box. Venom is just a fantastic Thresh player. Often says that he doesn't want to play Thresh because it feels like he's tryharding too much. But this time, because Curse managed to take a game off them, they knew that they really needed to try and even up this match. And he's picked up that Thresh, and as you can see, he is absolutely monstrous. Almost has that Mikhail's Crucible finished up, so if ever anyone gets caught out by any of these Solar Flares or Shields of Daybreak coming through from Airy, he's going to be able to instantly get them out of it. Really, really nicely done. And Trinity Force Bloodthirster being finished off here by Radier as well. So much, as well as now the massive tanky force of Swiper finishing that Randuin's Omen, as well as the Banshee's Veil and the Tiamat. My goodness, this Team Immunity team is just massive at this point.
Immunity really far ahead. It's just 12k gold lead, 6-1 in turrets. Just showing Curse how strong they actually are after the previous match which Curse took them down. The Siege comp really working out for them as well. Curse haven't been able to capitalize on some of the positioning that Immunity have had. And that being said, the way that Immunity have been playing, the positions that they put themselves in and when they decide to engage has also been on point. there's no way that Curse can really turn it around, especially now with such a gold deficit and an item deficit. They don't have the damage to turn a team fight around. They have to pick someone up. They have to grab them, and Spook's probably not the man you want for that. Finds himself a swiper as well, uses the Dragon's Descent, comes in, and Venom may turn this one around. Is he going to throw a hook? No, he will not, as Immunity regroup. You can see that Lucian as well as Nidalee both way out of position here, but again, this is where Immunity have chosen not to fight. They're going to regroup, and now that there's some, some of those ultis being on cooldown, they will be able to push the advantage against Curse.
Yeah, they really are, and that was a bit of a desperation engage coming through here from Curse, wanting to try and get anything that they can to try and get him back into this game, but it wasn't enough. Of course, Dragon Descent now being used means that Curse has really lost a massive amount of teamfight and initiation potential here on the side of Colo. There's a Descent landing on a Keen. That is not the target for Curse that you'd want. Massive whiff on the Shockwave as well. There's the Culling coming down, doing so much damage, but Shelby now in no man's land. That's a really massive shield from the Agony's Embrace, but it's nothing in comparison to the damage coming through. As we can see, Radiant now a monster. Look at all the healing coming through. Everything coming out, and Team Immunity going to be able to finish off this base as well, I feel, just because there just isn't enough follow-up. Spooks now taking a fair bit of damage, completely out of mana. The GG well played's coming through. We'll see whether Curse can get them off these turrets. The last few creeps coming through. We've got super creeps coming here as well. The double stun coming through from the Solar Flare, but the slice and dice in response from Swiffer, and Swiper. So much damage. There's a Death Sentence. Colo going to be taken down. The double kill now for Radiant. Here's the Command Protect, but is it going to be enough for Colo? No, it's not. Triple kill now. Radiant is a monster. Never give him that Lucian. There's the spear. Maximum range onto Keen as well. There's the amazing amount of skill shots coming down from Team Immunity, and Shelby not going to be able to do anything. Here's the Nexus going down. GG well played to Team Immunity, and they've come back into this matchup saying, nah, Curse, not again.
A convincing win from Team Immunity, putting Curse back in their place. Can Curse the second game? The next match is make or break for either of these guys. If Curse can pick the next game up, they will win the series. Same for Immunity. So they are now 1-for-1 in this best of 3. And we'll be back soon, guys, with that second match. That is it for me. We'll see Superficial return back for the analysis seat in the casting. My name is Menace, joined here by Atlas. Thank you very much for having us today. We'll be right back with the next match in this best of 3 between Immunity and Curse.
That's the joy of the Zephyr City. It goes away, but then it comes back.
What's in this? My heart's starting to beat really fast. Toss the flame. What's in this? My heart's starting to beat really fast. Toss the flame. What's in this? My heart's starting to beat really fast.
We mostly.
Have to die. Whole thing.
I'm done.
Y'all need to take a hit of this Jeffrey. It'll calm you down.
Welcome back, everyone, to the second game here in the grand final of the Cybergamer Pro League. Of course, Team Immunity taking on Curse. Curse now on the blue side, managed to kick Immunity down into the lower bracket, but Immunity fighting back really, really strongly. Last game was a massive performance. Unfortunately, this has had to go, but thank goodness we have Brad Superficial Allen back in the caster desk. Welcome back, friend, and I am so excited to get into this game. You must be too.
Yeah, man. Oh, I was watching the other one. Great game, great game. Sadly, Menace had to go. I'll try and fill his big shoes.
Oh, you certainly... I know he's got big shoes, but that's to do with his big feet, nothing to do with his ability to cast. You are fantastic, and it's good to have someone from the pro scene just to give us some more insight into these map rotations and abilities coming through, especially in this pick and ban phase. And as it's come out, of course, Nidalee has been forced to ban, and Holo now picks up his Jax as well. They managed to take away the Kazakhs, and this is a really good pick and ban phase coming through from Curse, picking up that really, really strong Jax, but Swiper back onto that Renekton as well, and he was so dominant on it last game. And Spooks, of course, with his Elise, really showing why that is such a priority pick for Team Immunity.
And you have the top lane, you have the Jax versus Renekton. At the moment, Jax is really, really strong, but Renekton's been always known as kind of a default counter. You pick against Jax. And at the moment, with the strength of Jax and Renekton's being nerfed a while ago, it's almost a skill matchup at the moment.
Yeah, of course. Being in the hands of Swiper, this Renekton is a monster in the early game, but as we know, of course, Colo a fantastic Jax player, and as soon as it gets past about the level 9 point here, for Jax, he's just going to have so much power with that extra attack speed coming through from his passive, of course the third strike coming through from his ultimate just doing so much damage, and the fact that it's mixed damage as well, forcing Swiper to build double resists against Colo. It's going to make things really, really difficult. Jinx coming through onto Trash Boat again. They really, really like that pickup. They know that Boat pretty much has... The Jinx is his pick. And Shelby locking in this Nocturne as well. This is going to be really interesting.
And yeah, Chelsea really fits that Nocturne pick as well. He really enjoys two very different styles of jungling. He enjoys the farm side or really heavy ganking. I don't really ever see him doing just a little bit of either.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We'll see whether he builds his Feral Flare, even though it has been nerfed a little bit. Of course, you now get the Feral Flare stacks coming over from kills and assists, and as well coming through from the Wriggles Lantern as well. So you can start stacking up benefits that you do get when in that Feral Flare form a little bit earlier on, but the attack damage and attack speed has been nerfed quite considerably on both of those items. So we'll see whether he decides to go with it, or whether he decides to go with the Spirit Stone item and just concentrate on getting those paranoia ganks really happening. Of course, Venom now picking up that Thresh, and Radiant on the Lucian again. This is really, really dangerous. They have every single pick from last game, apart from the Nidalee, which has been banned out. We'll see what Swiffer decides to do in this mid lane. They may need to pick away the Orianna here, just because Swiffer is such a monstrous Orianna player.
Yeah, you're going to see Immunity were just trying to reenact last game, basically. And do you think the Curse is going to be able to have what it takes to answer that? I'm not too sure. Last game, they didn't seem to have an answer at all for what Immunity was showing them. So you're going to have to say, well, what's Curse going to be able to do this game differently?
Yeah, Curse are really going to have to change up their playstyle just because they got out-poked and out-team-fought as well in the last game. Keen hovering over potentially... Oh my goodness, that is not true. We're not entirely sure what's going to happen right here. If this Orianna and the Syndra are both locked in, either has been played by Aerie in the support role. He could be playing one or the other of these two champions. Team Immunity has no idea what's going to be heading into this mid lane. It's going to be really hard for Swiffer to pick that one up. Plus, Swiffer is a monstrous player on both Orianna and Syndra. So that is picking it away from Swiffer, and he doesn't have the opportunity of his Nidalee or his Kassadin. Really, really good phase coming through from Curse to try and shut down Swiffer, and they're hovering over things like Poppy because they have no idea.
I think if there was an Orianna and Syndra, it'd be more likely to have the Orianna in support role than the Syndra, just because Orianna needs less items to actually get going than the Syndra.
It does depend though, because I like to think that his Orianna is way more powerful than his Syndra. Of course, we've got players from other teams like Dignitas's Kensti playing that Syndra to great effect. I haven't seen it so many times here from Keen, but his Orianna has always been fantastic. The Ziggs was left up though, and Swiffer easily going to be able to pick that one away. That is a little bit of an oversight, I think, on the side of Curse, just because Ziggs is such a powerful pick, and it gives them, again, so much utility in this poke comp potential, and they have the Hextech Minefield to really zone people out of these objective engages around towers, around Baron and Dragon. It's going to be really, really important here for Team Immunity.
Yeah, exactly. And a Ziggs, whether it's a Orianna mid or a Syndra mid, he's going to give a lot of trouble to either one of those just by that extra range, the auto attacks. So I'm not too sure how he's going to really deal with that extra poke.
See what he does bring to the table here. Has picked up, of course, we can't talk about the summoner spells. I was about to mention summoner spells. We're not into the 3-minute delay just yet. Yeah, so I'm just going to hold back on discussing that one. And we're going to talk instead about this jungle matchup, because of course we do have the early game prowess coming through here from Spooks on that Elise that he's shown so much strength on. But then you've got the farming Nocturne, who wants to get to that level 6 as soon as possible, and of course has that paranoia then at that point to really put pressure down on any of these lanes from a long distance. Are we planning on seeing perhaps Spooks really making his presence known around this map, or do you think that he's probably going to try and stay up with Chelby this game?
I think you're definitely going to see Spooks really just trying to make his presence known on the map. Trying to keep up and farm with the Nocturne is great and all, but if you're Elise, early game, you're going to do so much more than him. So why not abuse that?
Yeah, that really is true. Having that cocoon available in the early levels, of course, the main ganking maneuver here for Chelby is going to be that paranoia, so he wants to get to that level 6 as soon as possible. We'll see whether he manages to get some help here for Colo in the top lane, because Swipe is going to be putting on so much pressure. I don't think that Jax is really going to stand up in this matchup, especially considering the fact that he's taken teleport. We can talk about the spells now, and Swiper does, of course, have that ignite as well for the extra lane pressure. But what I was talking about, and it's what Swiffer was hovering over very early on, was the heal here in the middle lane. But heal was nerfed, so now doesn't remove the Grievous Wounds debuff. So has switched it over to barrier, and it works quite well. Although it doesn't outlast the ignite, it does mean that he can really stop a lot of that burst coming through from the Shockwave Dissonance combo if Keen manages to land that in a 1v1 in that middle lane. So he's going to be able to stop a lot of that damage from coming down. Of course, Boat's still going to be defaulting to that heal as well as Radiant. Radiant not going for any of that cheesy ignite exhaust bottom lane stuff that he was playing with that Twitch, which was available, but he wants to pick up his Lucian just to have a little bit more presence. But I'm scared for Curse just because we saw what Team Immunity can do with basically an identical lineup last game, and I can't help thinking that it could possibly just happen all over again.
And there wasn't a lot of time for Curse to really consolidate after that game, say, okay, this is what went wrong, this is what we need to do, this is how we're going to answer this. So basically right now, they're just going to be having a really quick discussion. This is what we need to do again. This is what happened last game. Leave last game in the dust. Focus on this game.
Yeah, it's so true. And one thing that I'm also noticing on the side of Curse is that they've got a very late game focused comp. They've got Orianna, they've got Jax, they've got Nocturne and Jinx, who are just massive late game powerhouses. Of course, the hyperscaling from all of these champions is fantastic, especially considering Feral Flare coming through. Even though the base stats are nerfed, the extra health you get back and the damage that you do per auto attack that stack up are still going to stack infinitely on that item. So if Chelby manages to get a lot of stacks, he's going to be completely monstrous in the later ends of this game. But I'm just not sure whether they're going to make it to that point, considering the amount of pressure and the way that Immunity played last game.
Exactly, Immunity really know how to push Curse's buttons. And Nocturne...
And lanes.
And lanes, yeah. I don't know if Nocturne was necessarily the greatest pick against how Immunity's been playing all day.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's really the answer. Of course, having that fear early on, is something. If Chelby manages to find Spooks in the jungle as well, having a well-timed spell shield against one of these cocoons could be really, really instrumental. But I doubt they're going to find each other, just because I don't think Spooks is really going to be counter-jungling. He's going to want to gank as many lanes as possible. And of course, Chelby wants to be sitting in his own jungle and farming. But we'll see what they decide to do, what ends up happening, whether we're going to have any extra pressure here in the early game. Of course, now that we've got the wards coming off cooldown at about 30 seconds into this game, it really means that we're going to have early vision, not going to see too many invades coming through too successfully, just because the map is going to be lit up here for both teams, and they're easily going to be able to get to their positions, consolidate them, make sure they have the vision, and stop any early aggression.
Exactly, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a really sort of passive first couple minutes of the game. Maybe a little poke into a jungle, but nothing too serious. Just the tip.
Just the tip, of course. And we are onto the Rift, everyone. Of course, Curse here, picking it up on our blue side, and Team Immunity now on the red side. Of course, blue side having historically a slight advantage here. So we'll see whether Curse can capitalize on that and really try and get some pressure on this map early on in this game. We'll see whether it does help them out as far as a strategic viewpoint is concerned. Airy is down in this bottom side, and they're all just going to be circumnavigating around. And it's a bit of a classic maneuver that we did see early on in the Autumn Regionals, was the 5-man defense along the river. Although Colo actually taking that Counter-Strike early is going to be able to stun up Swiper. Swiper taking a bit of damage there. Is going to back away and be able to get back to lane fairly easily, though.
Bit of poke, little mini skirmishes going all across the map. Mid lane, top lane, jungle.
Spook's also taking a bit of damage as well. Swiffer and Keen just smacking each other. Short fuse has been popped. Bouncing bomb not going to land, though. And a little bit of a type in chat there from Radio saying these level 1s when he's just sitting in the bottom lane in the brush watching everybody else. And Trashboat just saying meet at the Dragon Pit, will 1v1 each other. So I think he probably should do that, just considering the fact that everybody else has had a little bit of a bout. Dustbringer coming through from Shelby and Colo rotating down as well, but Spook's going to be able to get out of that one just fine. And as we can see, it's going to be just normal lane setup coming through. Colo going to be helping out here on this blue buff start and a red buff start here for Spook. So both junglers going to be ending at the bottom side of the map. We'll see whether they try and go straight into ganking. I assume Spooks is going to try and do something like that, but I could imagine Shelby just going to keep on killing all of these minions. So far, here in Venom, trying to do something sneaky, but also on the side of Curse, we've got Boat and Airy hanging out in that bottom lane as well, so we'll see what happens. We do have, of course, this blue buff going down, red buff going down as well, and a lot of extra trading here in the middle lane. Airy trying to put down as much damage as he can, of course. Syndra's only real asset here in the early game is going to be that slow, and of course, a little bit of extra damage. Counter-Strike coming through. Swiper does get stunned up. So much damage coming through just because of all the minions being hit down onto Colo. Nicely played here, and really playing Jax to his greatest potential here, level 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure level 1 is going to be like a massive downfall to Renekton. Once he hits level 3, I think he'll probably just go all in, and I think we'll probably see first blood up top lane.
Yeah, I think the sustain advantage as well from that Kuldameek is just so important here for Swiper. Every time he does hit that Q, especially when he has his rage up, is going to be getting back so much extra health, especially if he manages to hit Colo with it as well. And in the mid lane as well, so much harassment. So harass going down everywhere on this map. And as you can see, Swiper, both top laners have actually picked up that, have used their pot, but look at the damage coming through. That is ridiculous. Counter-Strike does come down. The Ignite comes onto Colo, and there it is. First blood for Jax. Colo with a massive outplay, and is going to head back to base as soon as possible. Is going to teleport back to that top lane as well. So much damage. Keen putting it down onto Swiffer as well, but Spooks is here. Does have that cocoon. Does land it as well. There it is. The flash forward, but the barrier being used by Swiffer perfectly baited out. Instantly answer that top lane kill. Shelby a little bit late to this party.
Yeah, definitely there. You can't really blame Keen for trying for that kill there.
Meanwhile, in the bottom lane as well, the Flay comes through. Airy now a little bit out of position, but Venom very, very low as well. We'll see whether Bo can get the damage down. Piercing Light comes through as well. Relentless Pursuit out of the way, and not too much follow-up there. Immunity just, wow, the zap coming down onto Radier as well. So, wow, every single lane is just so aggressive.
And that's what we've been seeing out of these two teams all day. Every single game that they've played together has always been just action, 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 and an early ending game as well.
Yeah, it's so true. The Counter-Strike coming down again, and Swiper gets stunned up. So much damage coming through. Kuldameek does do a fair bit in order to help him back into this position. Does hit level 3, but Colo's already level 4. And having a Jax this far ahead, wow, the Leap Strike and the Empowered Strike as well. And forcing Swiper to head back to base again. This is huge for Curse. Oh, Spook's actually coming down. The Repel does land. There are the Flame Chompers, but no one's going to get stunned up just yet. That being said, just going to sidestep the Zap, and Curse is going to be okay as well. So a failed gank there in the bottom lane after a fairly successful one in the mid, but my goodness. Yeah, that is true.
Using a flash there, so that wasn't really worth it at all for them. So I'm not too sure. I think Immunity's bot lane is actually going to have a bit of trouble.
Yeah, well, already it's looking to go in the way of Team Curse at this point. And as I was saying before, I mean, the late game scaling potential here coming out of Curse is massive. So Immunity really wanting to put the pressure down early, but so far have been entirely unable to. And with a Renekton falling behind as well, he's just going to be a meat shield. Swiffer now in a bit of trouble. Shelby gets the fear down. There's the Hextech Minefield. A lot of damage coming through. No barrier is available. Shelby taking a lot of damage from that turret, but Swiffer, nice level up to give him a bit of health back, but unfortunately he's going to be zoned away from his creeps, of course. Full health Keen.
Jax coming here for a bit of a sneaky reach around.
The sneaky Jax reach around. My goodness. Spooks is here though. Keen taking a lot of damage. Spooks though in response getting a lot as well. Counter-Strike goes down. Spooks is going to be dead. Bouncing Bomb not going to be nearly enough damage in response. And look at Colo. 1-0 and 1 now. He's fallen behind in CS a little bit, but having a Jax this big this early is terrifying for Immunity.
Exactly, and Jax isn't a champion to want to give any sort of lead ever. You just want to shut him down all game, and I'm surprised that Spooks has decided not to really help the Renekton at all early game. So they're going to have to really look in at what they can do to handle this Jax, because this Jax is now a problem.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be a massive problem. Of course, 12 CS disadvantage just coming from that roam, and Swiper still more than happy to tank up this turret. So, not too bad. Still managing to have the confidence to go face-to-face on this Jax. We'll see whether he manages to do anything. Keen going down very, very low. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb with the finisher. Keen falling as well. So now evening it out 2-2, 300 gold the lead for Curse. We'll see whether Immunity can consolidate anything here. This is of course the last game. Counter-Strike coming down. Swiper does get stunned up, but very, very intelligently doesn't do anything. There is the Ignite coming through as well, and Swiper brings it back. No worries at all. Wow, Swiper is just a monstrous Renekton player.
Exactly. See, he knew that the Counter-Strike was down. He could just get in, do the damage with the Ignite, and let him go out. That's... And he even had the flash as well, so it wasn't like he was going to die to that tower lot, like the tower hit there.
Yeah, really, really intelligently played through here for Swiper. The teleport going to be used by Colo, and unfortunately that roam just not really paying off. He manages to get the extra assist, but he let Swiper catch back up in farm and in levels as well. So took the pressure off Swiper, allowed him to get back into this lane, and now he's got that pickaxe, he has the longsword as well. So going to be able to have a lot more damage, and the more damage he does, of course, the more he's going to get back from that Calder Meek as well. So not too bad. Spooks is now back in this mid lane. Of course, Swiffer and Spooks, best friends from Exile 5. Of course, Brad, you would remember ACL Melbourne where they were playing together, and of course PAX as well. So always playing together. Swiffer and Spooks. I think Spooks' motto is "I'll just follow Swiffer wherever he goes."
Exactly. His heart will always be his. But I'm a little disappointed with Keen's performance today. Seemed to be getting caught in a lot of odd positions, and I'm not too sure if he's actually like playing at the top of his game, or if he's distracted today.
Well, he was playing absolutely fantastically when we saw him in the Challenger qualifier. Unfortunately, not making it through there just due to a technicality. But this time on this Orianna, I mean, he played Orianna as well in the middle of the week, and it was unbelievably good. Now up against Swiffer, not so great, but maybe it isn't necessarily a reflection of Keen, but more a reflection of Swiffer and how difficult it is to lane against such a strong opponent, especially when he's on something like Ziggs, which has so much harass potential.
Yeah, that's very true. And a bot lane, you're just going to see... I think Curse actually having a fair bit of trouble here. Jinx is down 10 CS. Radiant hasn't even bought yet, so... That's a little... They're going to need to watch that. I think Curse might need to help them out a bit.
Yeah, of course, already getting stunned up there. The Flame Chomper's come down, but this Pursuit going to be able to get him out of that one. The culling was used just to clear out that wave. Unfortunately, it was stopped there a little bit before it could finish off its work. I think Radiant wanting to go back to base, pick up his BF sword, is sitting on 82 CS. Going to have a fair bit of gold in his back pocket as well if we have a look. 2,400. So easily enough to finish off that BF sword and then some. Keen now taking a bouncing bomb to the face. These blue buffs on both of our mid laners as well, so they're going to be able to spam out everything. Meanwhile, Colo in the top lane didn't manage to get the counter-strike down, and then Swiper just slicing and dicing to and fro, making sure that he gets out of the CC and back in to the face of Colo when he needs to put the damage down. Oh, there's the satchel charge onto Keen as well. Hextech Minefield comes through. There's the... Wow, the shockwave being used, but not going to be doing nearly as much damage as he would want. And the Dustbringer, not going to be enough to secure any kills onto Swiper either, although it does do a little bit of harass damage under the turret.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure why King used the shockwave there in the middle. It probably would have been better off used for a wave clear situation. As here, as we can see, they're just going to take this mid tower.
Yeah, using those Spiderlings to tank up the turret hits as well, making sure that those minions last a little bit longer.
Nocturne and Jax sneaking around here. Maybe not make something happen.
Oh, Venom lands the death sentence as well. Shelby is very, very squishy at this point, gets cocooned up. There's Colo with the counter-strike. Oh, really, really nice use of the repel. Make sure he gets out of the stun, and the bomb's going to be enough to take care of Shelby as well. Really, really well played from Immunity, and that roam from Venom was absolutely fantastic. All of Immunity now in this mid lane. They are going to be able to rotate around. Swiper is now making sure he shoves out that wave, and they're going to be able to get the Dragon from this as well. So Immunity really taking this lead by the horns and getting into this objective game, really starting it off.
Exactly, that's a tower, that's a dragon, that's a kill. These like two massive things and one little thing. And now Immunity is going to be about 2,000 gold ahead.
2,000 gold almost instantly out of nowhere, and things were looking like rubbish early on. Having Colo get that first blood really early on to Swiper was very dangerous for Immunity, but now 1-1 and 0. Of course, Swiper managing to get that 1v1 kill back onto Colo as well, under the turret, just showing how much of a powerful Renekton player he is. Of course, now has that Tiamat built up, so he's going to be able to reset those auto attacks and do an incredible amount of damage, and can freely build up his defensive statistics at this point. So we'll see whether he manages to finish off enough items in order to be able to weather the storm of Jax, or whether Jax is just going to outscale. Descens lands onto both though in the bottom lane. Amazing work, but the stun was very good. There comes the culling coming onto Airy as well. I wonder whether there's going to be enough. A Super Mega Death Rocket comes through, but not really going to be executing anything from the really large health bars. Oh, max range stun landing on Radier, but not going to be able to get the W for the slow. And they're going to be able to get
Venom's
out of
still high
dodge.
enough health here that he could bring this Elise in, and they would win a 2v3 at this point.
Well, it's going to be a 3v3 just because we do have Chelby down in the bottom lane
the
as well. They've got
baits.
a lot of pressure. Well, Colo now putting damage down onto Swiper. He is tanking up that turret as well. Has the Dominus available for the extra health. We'll see whether anything can happen here in this bottom lane though. Nice double stun coming through from Airy. He is going to be able to disengage from this one. See if there is enough. The slow not quite going to land. Radier going to take that lantern, but it's not going to be enough. And Team Immunity try to pull this one back, and they do get the pressure in their advantage, but not going to be able to pick up any kills.
It's a wise choice there for Immunity just to back off. They can just push this tower down pretty comfortably.
Yeah, they are, of course. Oh, very nice Cocoon. The double stun again coming out from Airy. This Cinder is fantastic. Completely out of mana, though, at this point. I think Immunity know that they can freely push up because that really long-range stun definitely not going to be available. And as we can see, they're just going to keep trying to hit down on these creeps and finish off that turret. And they're relentless in their pressure here, Immunity. They've pushed Curse completely out of this bottom lane. It's going to be the second turret going down of the game, and for Team Immunity as well. So really nicely played. Collie now taking a lot of damage here from Swiper. Slicing and dicing out of the way. There is the counter-strike and the empowered shot as well. So Colo does, of course, have his ultimate as well. So he's doing a little bit of extra damage on that third hit. But, oh, there's the shockwave. There's the paranoia coming through from Chelby. Instantly flashes out of the way, and there's the satchel charge for the disengage. Nicely played before the fear tether goes off as well. So Swiffer survives. Does have to blow flash and barrier, but still manages to stay alive in that lane.
Yeah, that's really well played there by Swiffer. And the recurring theme I'm seeing of Curse here is relying on Colo. Colo this entire day has been playing fantastically. And so I think this game's really going to end up hinging on him and then partly on the Nocturne Orianna combo.
Yeah, we'll see whether he manages to do it. Of course, having a paranoia coming through from an Orianna who can pop that ball on top of the launching Nocturne is absolutely hilarious and really effective if you manage to get that Command Protect plus Shockwave combination into the backline. We'll see whether it manages to happen or whether he just flies way too out of range. It is always absolutely fun to see. And of course, having Colo leap strike into the backline as well with the Command Protect for the extra defensive stats is going to be really important. We'll see whether that ends up working out for Curse, but they have to make it to the teamfight phase without getting poked out, which is exactly what happened last game as well. And as you can see, Immunity are just rotating around and taking objectives.
Exactly, see, mid tower was gone, then there's a dragon, then bot tower was gone, now there's the top lane. Immunity just perfectly rotating around. However, I just can't see how Curse is going to be able to equalize this. They're going to get the mid tower, that's fine. They're going to get bot tower, that's fine. There's still going to be a tower down.
Yeah, they are, and of course the wave clear coming through from Ziggs, able to do this 1v2 situation quite effectively. Of course, Dominus being popped here in this bottom lane just to try and clear out these creeps, and Curse are just going to tank this turret up in the face. Of course, Colo now getting excited. The slice and dice coming through. Swiper gets feared, but close enough to his turret to be a-okay. Swiffer now rotating down. Shelby is very low. Oh, wow, there's a bouncing bomb and instantly deleting a very squishy Shelby. Oh,
Yeah,
that being
nah.
said, Spooks is now so incredibly deep. Does land the Cocoon on Airy. Mega Inferno Bomb comes through, and there's the culling. Is Immunity going to be able to capitalize on this? Only hitting one person with the shockwave. There is, unfortunately. Oh, Trashbro gets caught by the Descents and the Flay. Radier with the double kill, and this is what happens. Like, almost every game, Radius somehow finds a double kill from somewhere. Grandmaster's Might is being used here by Colo, trying to tank up some of this damage. Oh, there is another death sentence. Venom is so incredibly good at Thresh. My goodness, Immunity are turning it on today.
That teleport was so poorly timed. That's so unfortunate. He should have just shoved that top lane. It was pretty obvious like that bot lane fight was pretty much lost after the Nocturne died.
Yeah,
Pretty
very, very
unfortunate
true.
situation
Spook's
for
going
Curse.
very deep as well, sacrificing himself for a double kill on the AD carry. Definitely knows how to play for the team. Happy to soak up as much damage, waste some time here for Curse, and allow his team just to collapse on them as well. So Immunity never making a decision without knowing exactly what the repercussions are, and it's working out really, really well for them. Stealing away the Wraiths, of course a classic AD carry theme, is when in doubt, steal the Wraiths.
Exactly. If you don't take your jungle's jungle, how are they gonna like
How are they going to be
do
mad at you?
anything? Exactly. You have to have your jungle angry at you.
Otherwise they don't play to their full potential. That being said, we do have Dragon now instantly spawning, and Spook's going to be taking that one away as well. Swift are going to be clearing out this pink ward. We're going to head round to this middle lane. They've only got inner turrets to go at this point. After they finish this Dragon, they'll have a lot of coin in their back pocket. Of course, these AD carries still very close in farm, but the extra kill onto Radiant is going to give him a little bit of extra cash. Is sitting on about 2,000 at this point, with about 1,000 gold lead over Trashboat as well. Of course, hasn't completed any extra items. Will be able to go back and finish the last Whisper outright if he wants, but he'll probably want to go for that Trinity Force as the next item. Oh, double Shockwave coming through. There's a death sentence, but it's sentenced himself to death instantly. Spook's now in a lot of trouble. Trashboat does get excited after finishing off the second kill as well. A little bit of an overexcited gank there, and tower dive in the middle lane here from Immunity.
That shockwave by Keen there was really on point. That was just excellent work there. And during that entire
There's
time,
the stun from Airy as well, but nothing can
you have the
happen.
top lane push. The Jackson Nocturne.
Yeah, really, really deep push as well. I mean, I didn't see that that was happening as this came up. Of course, that was a 5 versus 3 in the middle lane that Curse managed to turn around really, really nicely. Of course, they've ran out of creeps now. Not going to be able to continue the push to the inhibitor turret, but nice work coming back into this one. And of course, it's only 1,000 gold difference. And Swift has been caught. There's the unleashed power, but it's not going to be quite enough because that's a support Syndra. Shutdown coming through onto Colo. Shelby going to have to get the heck out of here, but he's not going to make it. 1 for 1 there in the mid lane, but they are going to be able to take this turret. Trashboat now gets excited after that turret kill. The repel comes through. Keen very, very low at this point. The cocoon lands. Spooksy is going to be able to potentially, eventually, there it is, gets that kill. Finishes that off with the Noxious Bite coming through into Spider form, and Radiant not even getting an assist on that one. They're going to be able to shove through onto this inhibitor turret, this inner turret here in the mid lane on the side of Curse, of course. They managed to get a little bit of damage down on that before, sweeping out the wards as well. We'll see whether Curse can answer. There's Collar getting death sentenced up. Venom just demonstrating that he can land any skill shot that you give him ever on any champion. He's just fantastic. They do clean up that turret, and they manage to get their lead back into the vicinity of just over 1,000 gold, but I don't think that's enough compared to the late game scaling of Curse.
Well, I agree completely, and I was just about to mention, there was about a 4.5k deficit gold on Curse. That mid lane where they caught 2 people, I think it was the Thresh and the Elise with the brilliant shockwave by Keen, the push along top, that was like a 3 to 4k gold swing. And even though
that was
Immunity
2
has swung
turrets
it
as
back,
well.
Yes, even though Immunity has swung it back, still looking good for Curse.
Really, really good in it. And it means that they're definitely not out of this one as well, and they haven't been demoralized by the situation that Immunity have put them in. Of course, it's now 4 to 4 in turrets, and under 2,000 gold is the lead, and that's not enough here for Immunity. Even though their team, by all means, does not completely fall off 100% in the late game, having Swiper on Renekton means that he's not necessarily going to be as effective, considering the fact that he doesn't necessarily have a lead. Losing that first blood early was devastating, but we'll see whether they still manage to play their poke game, because they're trying to. I just think that they feel like they're more ahead than they actually are at this stage.
And you have to be careful that they're not going to, hopefully they don't get cocky. If they do, that could be definitely be their downfall.
It really could, and you can imagine Team Immunity probably have a fair bit of confidence, always being at the tippy top of Oceanic League of Legends, have been for years and years and years. Although they did drop a game today, so surely they understand that they're not invincible. But after last game, I mean, wow, that was such a dominating performance. We'll see whether they manage to do it. Dessins lands after the stun comes through from Venom. The Flay comes in as well. There's the Lantern, making sure everything happens. The double shockwave again. Venom taking a lot of damage, gets ignited as well. Spooks managed to finish off Kane before anything else happens. Airy now in trouble. The Shelby picks up the last kill. That Flay was out of control, but Colo still manages to pick up the kill. There it is, the flash into the Flay, and wow, Mega Inferno Bomb comes down. All the damage is already done. He does pick up the kill onto Trashboat as well. There's the repel onto Shelby. He does manage to block out a little bit of the damage, but there's the Cocoon. Finishes him off. Only Colo alive, and losing only 2 members on the side of Team Immunity. They will be able to take this in a turret, and wow, the team fighting prowess from Team Immunity is immaculate.
And that was... Immunity played that so damn well. And then Curse even still did that well. That's scary. That just says leaps and bounds about how strong Curse's comp will be in 10 minutes. I think Immunity really needs to take a better look and see what they can do. And looks like we've got a bit of a pause.
Yeah, apparently Colo is lagging a little bit. He may just want to disconnect out of this game and connect back in. But let's just use this to take a little bit of a retrospective look at what's happened in this game, because there's been so much action all across the map. Of course, we've got Immunity up by 1 turret. They've now got about a 3,000 gold lead. And Swiffer picking up a lot of items as well. Has the Void stuff that he built before his Rabadons. Now has the Needlessly Large Rod as far as the recipe for that is concerned. 8, 1, and 3 on this Ziggs. He is monstrous. Means that he can clear any wave with any one of his abilities so easily. Means their counter siege is fantastically strong. That being said, of course, Jinx is a brilliant siege champion. Keen's always going to be able to use that command attack to really zone people away. Of course, that ball is a fantastic zoning tool. And if they get engaged on, Colo's counter-strike is going to be gigantic. And we'll see whether Airy can keep landing these stuns. His stuns have been absolutely huge. The Dark Sphere plus the Scat of the Week has just been absolutely incredible. The game is resuming. So hopefully we are going to see Curse scale into this game and really give Immunity a run for their money, because if Immunity keeps getting these team fights that are really powerful, things are going to go continually bad for Curse.
Exactly. And Swiffer, as you said, just beast moding it on that Ziggs. And you're going to have that Jack split push. There's no other way. If they try and siege while that Ziggs is alive, nothing's going to happen. That will just be a complete and utter waste of time.
Yeah, it really will be. But having Jax on your team with that teleport as well means that he's probably the most powerful split pusher in the game at this point. Instantly clearing out that ward. Very nice. Cheers from the crowd. And it looks like we are at the stage where we're going to be baiting around this Baron Pit, trying to lure someone in. Of course, Ziggs is brilliant with that Hextech Minefield at really clearing out that Baron Pit, making sure that he gets fights in his favor. And we'll see whether Team Immunity can successfully make something happen, because I think that that Curse needs to wait for this teleport to be up, play defensively until then, and then send Jax on the split push and see whether they can successfully deter Immunity from taking a free Baron.
Exactly, and Immunity really doing the right idea here, just going to be able to press their sort of advantage that they have now. And that Ziggs is doing so much damage to that Jax. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, monstrous amounts of work. Of course, Colo, unable to build any defensive items yet, wants to finish off that Trinity Force. Only about 1.1 thousand gold before he has that one finished off, and then he'll be building his defensive items, and that's when he becomes a real menace. Swiper getting stunned up, but he's not going to care too much about that. Of course, did not go with those Mercury's treads, and Trashboat now in a little bit of trouble, but the Satchel Charge from Swiffer gets him out of that danger. Being said, Dragon is being started off here by Team Immunity. Ooh, there's the Mega Inferno Bomb, but I think that Swiffer is definitely dead at this stage. Unfortunately, sacrificing his own life for that of the Dragon. Team Immunity happy to make that trade, but unfortunately relinquish a lot of their ability to clear out a wave and also to control an area. We'll see whether Curse can capitalize on their man down. Of course, only 30 seconds on the death timer.
Yes, there's only 25 seconds to really make anything happen here, and Curse isn't really in a position to do that right now. Kind of reset lanes, push everything out, and then... But they just need to hope for a catch. I think that was less a catch and maybe a bit more of a misplay from Swiffer.
Yeah, I think that might definitely have to happen. Of course, Colo now, of course, has his Ninja Tabi with the Distortion enchantment as well, so is going to have that flash and teleport off cooldown much sooner. Gives him a lot more split push potential at many, many times, so he can follow up with his team and then have that teleport ready much more quickly. Chelby now not wanting to go against Radier 1v1 here at all. He's just going to shove out that lane back on out and continue his work. Of course, now the lanes have been reset there in the bottom lane. Radier thinking about moving back, but I think he wants to take one more wave, just make sure that one's pushing out before they try and do any more baiting around Baron. Having wave control is so incredibly important, isn't it, Superficial?
Yeah, it really is. With the Atlantean skin, they have a lot of wave control.
Unfortunately, not an army.
Yes.
So not really going to have the wave control that you necessarily need, but ball control, my goodness. Could be Kobe Bryant right here in the hands of Airy.
First running with the Kobe Bryant team comp.
Yeah, the Kobe Bryant team comp. We've got Kobe and Kevin Durant, I think.
They've got a dunk up in the top lane from the Jacks. It's just perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely wonderful. That being said, I mean, Swiffer does have the ability to throw down the net that's ridiculously large, as well as the actual net coming through from Spooks. So definitely a game of basketball here. Although this being the 5v5 of choice here, definitely for us here at Team Down TV. We do love our League of Legends, and we'll see whether they manage to bring us any of these team fights, because at the moment they're both at different ends of the court, and we'll see whether they bring it to one another. Of course, all the vision being cleared out here by Team Immunity. They have left one of the wards here in the brush, so Curse are going to know what's going on. I think that's going to be swept very, very soon. There it is. It does end up going down, so Immunity now with control of this Baron pit. And with that Hextech Minefield, as we said, I think that Curse now, the only option that they have is to clear out this mid-wave and try and force Immunity to respond.
Yeah, pretty much. They just need to push up really fast, stop the Ziggs from actually getting in there. But even then, Ziggs can ult and clean an entire wave, or just throw a Q. Or an auto.
Yeah, that's true. He seems to be able to clear it with absolutely anything. Spooks is now here. The culling coming through. There's a really nice cocoon on a trash boat. Unfortunately, the stun does not land. Mega Inferno Bomb. Boot is almost out of this fight completely. Colo forced to run away as well. There's the heal coming through on his trash boat and the Mikhail's Crucible. I think this is enough for Team Immunity to force this Baron fight.
Yeah, it really is. And Nocturne's going to have to try and steal this one if the Curse can't really interrupt it, which I'm not sure would be wise for them to do.
Yeah, they are still going to try and do something. The peel off and instantly destroying before that Shockwave even had a chance to come down. Colo now in a lot of trouble. Hextech Minefield has been used. It's not going to be available for this Baron choke point. See whether Curse can find a way in. Of course, with Keen down, it's absolutely monstrous. Chelby now a bit out of position. And the Paranoia does land. He manages to get the steal on the Baron. Instantly goes down in the hands of Radier, but I think he's going to be calling Worth in all chat. Boat does fall next. Airy going to go down. Colo going to get eliminated. So the buff not going to be on anyone on Curse. Immediately, everyone gets eliminated. Team Immunity really needs to try and push up a wave and capitalize on this, because that was a lot of extra gold going over to Curse. Of course, you saw everyone going down, only one member of Immunity, but that gold lead did not change.
Exactly, and it was good that Kurtz got that Baron. That was very well played by Chelby. If he did not get that smite,
it would have been game over.
Yes, it would have been sayonara to your inhibitors, probably to your money.
Yeah, that's so true. Spook's almost getting eliminated from that command attack dissonance combination from Keen, and he does stop the push successfully. Of course, now that he has that Rabadon's Death Cap, is able to finish off these waves very, very easily with his abilities, so almost as a pseudo Ziggs as far as that wave clear is concerned in these siege situations. And I think that Immunity needs to continue doing this, baiting out objectives like Baron and Dragon, and making sure Curse gets caught out in positions that aren't towers when they don't need to risk the dive.
Exactly, and as you say, yeah, I completely agree, 100%. Immunity don't really need to do any silly dives, they just really push and they'll win this game by attrition at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment. That being said, I mean, if Curse managed to turtle, it's only a 5,000 gold lead here for Team Immunity, and that's by no means a massive margin, especially considering the scalability of these guys. So we'll see whether they can do it. And of course, Curse managing to take the first game here in this series against Immunity, and it's their turn. You know, I mean, Curse wins the first one, Immunity wins the next one, it's got to be Curse's turn. So we'll see whether they manage to actually do it, or whether Immunity are going to be able to get the 2 in a row and pick up that $900 here for winning the Cyber
900
Gamer
real
Pro
life
League.
gold. Real life gold.
Real life gold. Yeah, that's exactly right. Sorry about that.
Yes, it's quite coveted, one could say.
Yeah, but, I mean, going back to the fact that Curse are going to scale up, we have an Infinity Edge and a Blade of the Ruined King now finished off by Colo, and has that Giant's Belt on top, so he's going to start getting tanky. 5-3-1 here on this Jackson. He's going to become an absolute menace, almost impossible to deal with if he scales and gets that 6-item point where Jax is just completely unable to do anything. Not going to be able to get the steal this time is Chelby. The Flash is indeed forced, and the Teleport used as well.
Yes, we're going to see Jack's going to be trying to push up along that top. He's going to get answered. Don't support was really a great idea. There was no team fight to really capitalize on that, and it was really far pushback.
And I think this is intelligent as well here for Team Immunity, making sure they go up and stop the Jax before he gets the push, just because the counter siege coming through from Curse is really, really starting to become effective. With Kane doing so much damage, has that Void Star finished, that trifecta of mid lane items, as you'd say, has been finished up, so he's going to have a lot of wave clear, and of course a lot of extra support for his team. Orianna just an amazing supportive mid laner with that command protect, and the fact that that shockwave can displace everyone and do so much damage in an AoE. So intelligent play by Immunity, making sure that they clear out the Jax, but this is going to be where it starts getting difficult, because this is the 30-minute mark. This is the point where Curse starts to get really, really strong just inherently with their team comp. Of course, we haven't mentioned Trashboat. He has the trifecta of items as well. That Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, and Last Whisper has been finished. Have a decent amount of farm on his side as well. Of course, nothing in comparison to Keen, who's been farming up an absolute storm here. Out-farming a Ziggs is definitely nothing to scoff at.
Exactly, and Swift are really, really good at farming. Just basically on any champion. You see him play LeBlanc, he has similar CS.
Yeah,
I think he's the lesser champion, just more the player himself. Exceptional player.
Yeah, the other thing to mention is the Blade of the Ruined King Feral Flare combo finished by Chelby. He has a fair bit of CS on his side as well, 42 ahead of Spooks. And a fair few stacks there coming down onto that Feral Flare. If we have a look, he is sitting at about 1 minute. 11? Or is that just one? Oh my goodness, so it is just one stack. So unfortunately, not able to completely stack out that guy at the 30-minute mark. Very, very, very strange. I would have expected that to be more, unless that's some sort of bug and I can't read correctly. The Cocoon is going to go wide. Command Protect now with... Oh, King getting caught up. Almost immediately obliterated. Colo jumping into the middle of the fight. There's a Super Mega Death Worker not doing too much. Swiffer having to pop that Mikhail's Crucible from Venom. That's a 1-for-nothing trade. They are going to possibly be able to get a lot of damage down. Oh, there is the insta-kill with the Mega Inferno Bomb, Bouncing Bomb combination from Swiffer in that backline. So much range. And there it is. Of course, Spook's able to tank up that turret until he feels like getting out with that repel. And that's the inhibitor going down. So well executed there from Team Immunity.
Very well played there by Swiffer. Just as we were done patting his back, he pat his back again. And...
Yep.
I thought there was a jinx near that tower where the tower used to be, but there wasn't. There was just a big explosion.
Oh yeah, she was just a splat on the ground. As you can see, there's a skull and crossbones, and I think she almost originated as that at that point, because that was so much damage. As you can see, the gold has been launched to about 8.2 thousand here at this point, almost instantly, just with the fact that they managed to get all of those kills and as well as the turret and inhibitor, so much more lane pressure. Of course, all of the lanes here for Team Immunity are pushing in. They have so much lane control. Normally, they always manage to focus on that before they get these sieges happening, so that when they get these situations, they're really able to capitalize. The flash forward into the Randuins, making sure that he doesn't have to hit the Cocoon in order to change anything up. Or Mega Inferno Bomb. Finishes him off.
Oh my
So if he didn't want to
gosh,
use that, but saw it was the only option, and they took it.
The most important part of that play, especially, was he threw the bomb, then he looked away and did not look at the explosion.
Cool guys generally don't look at explosions superficial. That's how these things work. Now, all of Team Immunity moving down to this bottom lane. They have a 4v5 situation for 30 seconds. and super creeps heading into this mid lane. It's looking very, very dangerous for Curse. Even though they do... Oh, Airy gets caught up here as well, the flayback as well. We'll see whether the Lantern is enough to get everyone into this fight. Doing his best to juke out of everyone. And there's Colo to try and play a little bit of interesting moves. There's Radiant gets eliminated instantly. This could be the turnaround here for Curse. Airy now a little bit overexcited. Keen gets caught up. He's going to be the next focus. Airy gets taken down in amongst all of this. Shelby has just come up. He does have Paranoia. Might be able to find a way back into this fight. Swiffer has noticed that as well. We'll see whether he can get into this, throw some bouncing bombs, but he is not. He's going to head back to base, and I think the Curse may have stifled this push for now.
They did stifle the push, however, they did give a bit of extra gold to Immunity. I guess at this point, what's an extra 300 on a few thousand, right?
Yeah, that is really true, and it's getting to the point where, I mean, this money isn't worth necessarily anything as much as it would in the mid to early game. Of course, now Swiper has a massive amount of defensive statistics. He has that Thornmail, that Randuin's Omen, and of course the Banshee's Vow now on top of that as well. So no surprise Shockwave's really going to be doing much unless that command attack does hit before that happens. Course, quite likely to do because you need to maneuver that ball into the right position, but he is a very, very tanky Crocodile, and we'll see whether he can get into the positions that he wants to be in, because he's more of a meat shield now towards the late game. When you're thinking about a Renekton, I mean, he's more of a lane bully in the early game and then meat shield in the late game.
And you have the Elise, really tanky as well. Even before, you saw him literally use his defensive Randuin's as an offensive item by flashing towards, I think it was the Nocturne, and slowing him.
Yeah, it's true. That was fantastic work, of course. That means his flash is going to be down. Not too many flashes available here for Team Immunity. Having it up on Radiant is definitely important. And now that Baron's available as well, we're going to start this dance all over again. Swiffer has tried to take this blue buff. Venom might be caught out here. The death sentence doesn't land, and look at all the damage coming down from Chelby. He has popped that Paranoia. The Flay comes through at the right time, but Trashboat gets excited, gets the kill. There it is. That's a really, really nice culling, getting a lot of damage onto Colo, but is it going to be enough to deter Curse from following up this fight? Because it's now 4v5, and we know exactly how instrumental Venom is in these fights. Of course, the box wasn't used at all. Immunity still have a lot of aggression here. They're playing really, really far forward. We'll see whether it's a good idea. They got a fair bit of damage down to Colo and Shelby. That's the front line here for Curse. We'll see whether Immunity managed to stay up with it. Of course, Swiper, full health. So their tank's doing quite nicely.
Swiffer literally keeping Immunity in the driver's seat right now. Just watch it, he's got perfect positioning. I know I'm ranting about it because he really deserves to praise this game. He's just playing excellently.
He really, really is. 11, 2, and 9. His score definitely demonstrates exactly how well he's doing. While Immunity are going down for this Dragon, I mean, gives Curse an opportunity to potentially get a little bit of alone time with the Baron. Mega Inferno Bomb does come down. That's a lot of extra damage, popping all of the Banshee's Veils as well. But this is going down really, really fast. Curse, pick up the Baron. Massive misplay here for Team Immunity. Nice shockwave. Swiffer gets caught. Super Mega Death Rocket gets flashed out of the way. Swiffer would have died if he hadn't used that one. And a little bit of a misstep going for that Dragon when the Baron was available, and Curse find themselves back in this game.
Oh, they're going to get that inhibitor. I'm not too sure. Oh, they're actually going to back off. I'm not sure. I think they could have kept going for that, but I guess if Swiffer went back, they don't really have the massive damage anymore.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that if they were to get aced at that point, that would have been game over for Team Immunity. That would have been them losing another tournament as well, and is not something that they are going to relinquish lightly. But as we can see, Curse not giving up either. We'll see whether Immunity can bring it back. We know that they've got amazing teamfight potential, but the longer this game goes, the more difficult it's going to be. Of course, 7,500 gold is the lead here for Team Immunity, and we'll see whether Curse can capitalize on their Baron buff and really get the pressure down, because having Swiffer, as you were saying, playing ridiculously well, but on the zigs as well, means that the siege potential coming from Curse is going to be almost not there.
Exactly. They're going to have to rely on that Jack split push, but Immunities always seem to have an answer for this split push.
Yeah, always managing to put pressure down where they need it. Radiant now in the top lane. They have a lot of vision coming up through the river as well, so he feels relatively safe. We've got Immunity pinging down onto this open inhibitor. They want to put the pressure on even though they don't have the Baron buff, and it's sitting quite nicely there onto Curse. I don't know whether it's necessarily the best idea for them to be shoving out of their base too much, or whether they should be just turtling up, waiting out this Baron buff, and then putting the pressure on when there isn't about 5,000 gold worth of stats on the enemy team.
Yeah, and they're not really looking to do anything here. They just need to wait for this Baron buff, as you said, to run off. And if Curse does decide to go push somewhere, what are they going to do against a 11-2 Ziggs? Like, not a whole lot.
Yeah, not a whole lot. They're not going to be able to push out very much at all. Now 6 stacks on the Feral Flare for Shelby. Is finally becoming a big kid as well this game. My goodness, this game just got a whole lot closer with that really, really nice Baron call there by Curse, finishing it off so incredibly quickly with the double Blade of the Ruined Kings, and now the Infinity Edge, massive, massive damage spike coming through from Trashboat just that second, and at the same time from Raider as well. These AD carries really starting to scale into this game, but Trashboat on this Jinx, now a 4 damage item Jinx, is terrifying. She is going to be doing so much damage, and we'll see whether this really turns around the fights now in their favor, or whether Trashboat is out of position like he has been a couple of times this game and gets instantly deleted, because of course Swift are so much damage and so much potential just to kill this Jinx.
Exactly. Colo's going to be split pushing up there. They're going to send Renekton to answer it. I think at this point Colo can deal with him. It's all up to the rest of Curse to see if they can apply the amount of pressure they need. Actually get a tower here, which I think they'd be better off going for a 1-3-1 split.
Yeah, I think the 1-3-1 split with Shelby in the bottom lane as well. I mean, he can clear out a wave incredibly quickly, and Keen and Airy have a fair bit of disengage here for Trashboat as well, with the Scatter the Weak Dark Sphere combo, and of course the Dissonance for the extra speed. Means that they have a lot of that option, but not going to be the case here. Curse going to go for the 1-4 situation, while Keen picks up this blue buff as well. Fairly handily, I might add.
Yeah, definitely, and that it's going to kind of play it safe, I guess, in a...
Yeah, Curse not putting much pressure on though. They have this Baron buff, they have the option now, and as you can see, the gold lead is not decreasing. Still sitting on 8,000, which is a considerable lead for Team Immunity. Of course, 7 turrets to 4. They have a lot of pressure on this map. Of course, there's only a couple of inhibitor turrets available. The inhibitor has respawned, so no super creeps to deal with, but Team Immunity are more than happy, I must feel, just to sit around, wait out this Baron, pick up all their buffs as they feel like, ward up a little bit more defensively now, but still give themselves the option of knowing where Curse is and pushing out when they feel like it. Airy taking a lot of damage from that culling. Relentless Pursuit coming through. There's the flash! So much damage. Ardent Blaze not going to find its target. A little bit unfortunate. There's the Shockwave. Radiant might have gone a little bit too far forward. Airy, unfortunate. Keen does end up getting destroyed though. Shelby now Trashboat, unfortunately, as we were talking about, out of position. Double kill coming through for Radiant. This could be instantly the end of the game. What happened? Team Immunity just came out of nowhere.
And Keen there with really unfortunate positioning.
Yeah, another kill going down. Shelby dies. Colo forced to flash out of that one as well. Only Airy and Colo available. This is going to be the Nexus turrets going down. Team Immunity just come out of nowhere to take this game. 3-man stun, very, very nice. Nice play though. There's the box as well. The shutdown does come down onto Swiffer, but it's too little, too late. Team Immunity taking down the Nexus for the final game here for the Cyber Gamer Pro League, and wow, incredible performance from Team Immunity. This is what we expect out of them, but Curse looks so good. Congratulations to them for qualifying here into Winter, and my goodness, Brad, that was a fantastic series to watch.
You're not wrong, Max, you're not wrong. That was absolutely, like... I just want to touch on Immunity. They waited for a mistake to happen from Curse, which is so typical Immunity. I was actually just about to get on a bit of a rant how they wait for the late game, they wait for someone to make a mistake, and they win the game off of it, and it's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, if everyone could just hang around for a few moments, we are going to have an interview, hopefully, with one of the players here. So we're just going to take a quick break, get that one organized, and then we'll bring you a quick interview with a member of Team Immunity, just to talk to them about their win and about what their plans are for the Winter Round of 8, which is coming up on the 24th of May. Don't go anywhere just yet. We'll see you. Welcome back, everyone. Of course, I'm now joined by Frank, the manager here, Team Immunity, and of course, Radier or Derek Chang as the AD carry and star player, of course, rank 1 here in Challenger. Fantastic player, of course. First, Derek, I want to talk to you. How did you find those games? Were you scared of Curse? I mean, they did take the first game off you.
After the game 1, I feel we don't really feel like we do respect Curse as a team, but we didn't feel like they were the complete kind of reason why we lost. I think in the first game, we had a lot of things kind of went wrong, and I think our biggest enemies was ourselves. But after they did take a game off us, so we were a little scared of losing the tournament, but we're glad that we pulled it through.
Yeah, no, definitely. Of course, coming into the first game for the grand final, you guys had a dominating performance. It looked like Curse had basically not turned up. You guys were playing against bots and just destroying everyone. Of course, Swiffer in the mid lane on that Nidalee and as well on that Ziggs. Have you found that this is the team comp that you guys generally run with, this sort of pokey, engaged team comp?
Yeah, certainly. It is the team comp that we've had a lot of success with in the past. And whilst we can always go back to it, we always like trying out new things. So it's just like it's kind of like our old niche team comp, or I wouldn't say niche, but our old reliable team comp that we always use.
Yeah, fantastic. Of course, I want to talk to you, Sangy, just a little bit, or Frank, sorry, just a little bit about how you get the team prepared. Of course, Team Immunity is such a seasoned team, and of course, there must be someone out the back sort of pulling the levers and the cranks, just making sure everyone manages to practice effectively, and you've been doing such a good job for so long. What is your secret here in Oceania?
No secret really. I think our biggest, like Derek said earlier, our biggest enemy is kind of ourselves. we need to kind of adopt a mentality where we're not going to start winning, everything all the time from now on, and we need to have a better attitude towards losing. And I think I'm really proud of the boys for kind of pulling it out after dropping that first game to Curse, and then like rolling through ISSC, and then getting through those the extended series down one game. I'm really proud of the fact that they kind of turned it around and really had an attitude towards getting better and winning the next game, as opposed to dwelling on the mistakes they made in game one, being more focused on the future than the past.
Yeah, that's really true. Of course, having a do-or-die situation in this best-of-one scenario coming through into the Cyber Gamer. Is having best-of-ones here, is it more difficult as a manager to say, look guys, you've got to really do it right now, otherwise we're out of this one? Does it add a little bit more pressure to you as well?
I think it would obviously add more pressure to the players and myself. As for me, I kind of try and make sure that they understand, it may be a best-of-one, but it's just like any other game. Like, we go into every game, aiming to win. We go into every series aiming to sweep it, so there's no real added pressure. Like if it's the best of one, we lose it, we're done. It's more just, alright, it's another game, let's play it, let's win.
Yeah, and I guess there's also the fact that you guys were the first to qualify through to the Winter Round of 8. You guys were in it from the beginning, of course, taking out the victory over at Supernova incredibly convincingly. This is another thing that I really want to talk about here, especially to you, Radia. Are a lot of teams that have been stepping up, especially just recently. I mean, Avant-Garde Ascension have looked fantastic. Not necessarily as great today, of course, they were a man down. But other teams, especially like Curse, managing to take a game off you guys today. Is there anyone? Have your thoughts, changed as far as the scene is concerned? And are you scared of any teams at the moment?
I definitely think that the scene has gotten better, a lot better, especially after Autumn Regionals. I know that after the Autumn Regionals, a lot of teams kind of got really motivated to start practicing a lot, and it has been showing. Teams have been performing a lot better against us in scrims, but ultimately, I wouldn't say that there's no particular team that we're looking out for. But like I said before, I think our biggest enemy is ourselves. I think if we just adopt a better attitude and like kind of not make the same mistakes that we make in like games that we lose, I think that's just a best way to approach things. But generally, I don't think think all teams have gotten better, but I don't think there's any particular team that we look out for.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That absolutely makes sense, and especially considering your performance today. I mean, you dropped one game, but then come through so incredibly strongly, and you guys looked like you were in control every single step of the way. So thank you very much for having a chat with us. That was, of course, Radia and Frank, the manager for Team Immunity. Thanks very much, guys, and congratulations on your victory here today.
Thanks,
and that's all for us here at Team Down TV. Thank you, everyone who was watching. And we will see you next time for more fantastic League of Legends action.
Before you run off though, Atlas, when's winter? When's the dates? Any important dates? You mentioned Supernova. When are these qualifiers happening for people to get onto the qualifiers? The
qualifiers have actually all finished.
The top 8, come on.
And this is the last one, of course. The top 8 does start on the 24th of May. And you guys can check that one out as soon as that happens. That's going to be every weekend, running a couple of best-of-3s each time, and we'll see who the best teams are here in Oceania. There are a couple of teams still to make it through here from the collegiate or LAN cafe sections. Of course, these are the last of the pro teams coming through. Of course, Team Immunity, Team NV, Avant-Garde Ascension, and Avant-Garde Redemption, and have now been joined by Team Curse, and, of course, your soul shell, Chuffer. And I'm so glad Chuffer's in. That's a personal reference here. So thank you again, everyone, and make sure you stick around for more fantastic games in the future.